Boom! Just like that, I appear precisely on time. I think this week I was 1 minute early, which is good for me. Ooh, it's exactly 6 p.m. Bam. Love being on time, boys. Means I can take a sip of water. Producer Logan just sent me a message saying to check the mystery box because it got delayed. I don't have it here, and the show has started, so we may have to do a double mystery box next episode. So I will let you guys know there's no mystery box this week, unfortunately. I do really appreciate ending the mystery box with the stream, but I don't have it here. DRZ's back, says Bazaar. I know, dude, that was, man. Okay, listen. That might have been the craziest news out of the entire EICMA insanity. Also, Exorinity, dropping a little sticker on there. Thank you very much for the $5 before the stream even started. Ye of much faith. Motodaxa says she's on the live stream. Yeah, how are you on this stream? Like, I thought the time zones was like 2 a.m. where you are or something like that. Geraldo, fala boa noite pro Brasil. Boa noite, Brasil. Durma bem. Sweet dreams, right? I actually met a Brazilian guy today, a granite and quartz guy that I'm having some countertops done in my house because that's super interesting. Yammie Noob home renovations. Total dad mode here. Been doing the electrical outlets. We're painting. We're countertopping, boys. We're putting in some work on the house because we're just dad mode now. Okay, back to, we're doing pre-stream now. We're just hanging out. So yeah, just like before I get to the questions and all that, EICMA has been bonkers this year. It's been bonkers. Absolutely blown all my expectations. Truly, I think one of the greatest years we've had of new motorcycles. Exorinity being so kind. Another $9.99. You don't have to do this. Thank you so much. We have an LOL sticker. What was I saying? I'm on 2 hours of sleep today. It's crazy. So, EICMA this year. That's right. New DRZ. We got boosted V3 Hondas. We got the R9 finally. That was a little pre-EICMA. We have a new Panigale V2. We have the covers off the RC990. We have like this triumvirate of the new generation super sport bikes, all 120 horsepower, all similar weight, all doing the kind of comfortable road track thing. Like, someone has to make a three-way shootout now of the new Pani V2, the RC990, and the R9, because, like, that's literally, like, a very well-defined new category. Also, baby adventure bikes. That's, like, a very well-defined category now, too. New BMW F450GS concept or whatever looks really good. That design language looks great, shrunken down. I didn't think it would, but it did. The new 390 ADV from KTM. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's been a wild EICMA season. Has absolutely blown all my expectations. Lou Stella said that yeah, the Aprilias as well. We have RS660 Factory, Touareg 660 Rally, which I was like, oh, finally, like we finally got a cool rally spec Touareg. That's sick. 210 457. I mean, it's ridiculous. There are so many. Man in Black. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw the new CF Moto teaser. Not sure if you've seen it. They revealed their new V4 engine. I have not seen that. I'm gonna watch that after the stream now because I'm really interesting. This guy here says, letting you know the German government just imploded. Surely nothing bad will happen with that. I can't remember. I remember last time the German government imploded. Nothing bad happened with that, right? Oh boy. Hope everything's okay. Got to look into that news now. Sweet Tarma, good morning, Vietnam. What's up? What's up? Yeah, this is yeah, it's been a crazy time for new motorcycles. Chris says, shocked you're not a huge fan of the 25 R1. It's still an R1. It's not that I'm not a fan. I just felt like they just stuck cheapo winglets on it and kind of called it a day. They finally gave it real brakes, and I was like, okay, we're still same engine, same frame, not really doing a whole lot here, you know? So that's why I was a little disappointed, especially when Ducati comes out with the new Panigale like every other year. It's like, dude, come on. But that's what they do at Ducati, obviously. George says, good morning and afternoon, my my fellow petrol-burning, sprocket-bending, chain-link breaking, knuckle-dragging motorcycle maniacs. That's an excellent intro. Maybe we could use that one for a future video if producer Logan's on the stream here. Sub-Zero said, just did this first 600-mile service on my Street Triple 765 RS. Good to be back on 2 wheels. That's awesome. It always feels good to crack in that first service. I just did it on the Touareg 660. It's been a long time since I've done a first service on a personal bike of mine. I was very careful doing everything by the book and all that. But yeah, things are looking good on it. Speaking of Sub-Zero's Street Triple RS 765, I just signed the check a few days ago, picking it up in a couple of days for the new giveaway bike. It's yellow and it has 3 cylinders. I'll let you take a wild guess as to what it is. Very, very excited about that one. I'm Halfsack here. Papa Yam answered my question on the ZX4 being a good first bike last stream. Helped me make my choice against the ZX4. Going with the R7 instead. That's great. I'm glad that helped narrow it down a little bit. You'll probably be happier with the R7 just because it's like a little more normal and torquey and like it's a great bike. You can't go wrong. The ZX4 is unique as hell. It's a really, really interesting bike. Memento FX, thoughts on Royal Enfield's EV, the Flying Flea, right? That's what they're calling it. I am interested to see because it looks more close to an electric bicycle than a motorcycle. I think Royal Enfield's play there is like mass market adoption in India, maybe not necessarily American. And I think that they're going to be coming at it from the perspective of just trying to sell as many as possible. Hopefully the price is nice and low, gets people accessible on 2 wheels, having fun, doing the thing. That is really fun. What else was I going to tell you, boys, before we get the stream started over here? Georgian said, bought a GSX 8R. Thanks for the in-depth on the giveaway. Also got a Grom. Went 26 years without riding. Could be happier. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words and for being back on 2 wheels. That is great. That's a good combo of a garage. GSX 8 and a Grom. That's pretty sweet. Oh, okay. This final question here, and then we'll get started with the real questions we got on the stream that I'm a little more prepared for. This user asked, just wondering why you've never mentioned the BMW F900R anywhere. What's wrong with it? I got one as my first bike this year, and I'm super happy with it. I think that the F900R is fine. It's just that there are so many bikes in that 900-ish middleweight, naked category, and I think the F900 is a little expensive for what it is because you can just like go crazy with the farkles and features. You can get a base for pretty cheap, but I didn't understand what the F900R did better than any of the other parallel twin bikes in that category. Kind of just felt like a Me Too motorcycle. So I don't know. That was my opinion on it. Boys, let's begin. Really quick. I remember last stream, it was completely unhinged, and I remember I had a lot of fun with it. If y'all want to see me on the bike roaster boast, just go full roast mode again. Let me know in the chat here. Just say, roast them up, Yam, roast it. Just let me know, and I'll fire up the oven, and we'll get started roasting. For the questions, I'll be a little kinder because I think people actually need some help, and I'll try to give some real insights and answers here. But I'm totally down to go balls to the wall with the roast. Let's have some fun with it, shall we? Okay, let's get started with the questions. Class is in session. E equals MC Hayabusa. Going to answer you some rider questions today. Going to be a lot of fun. Let's begin. Shades XL1220 on YouTube asked me, when are we going to get a video about riding 2-up? Been riding for a couple years now, but still not confident about throwing a passer on the back of me, and it's kind of intimidating. Okay, great question. You will probably not see a 2-up video from me. Why is that? Because I've only ridden 2-up maybe 5 or 6 times in my entire riding career for very short periods of time. 2-up riding is something I'm not that familiar with, I'm not that experienced with, and I would feel a little silly like making an in-depth video on it when I really don't have that much experience with 2-up riding. I will say this, the 2 things to think about when it comes to 2-up riding is, number 1, your rear shock preload. You are adding a tremendous addition of weight to the rear of the motorcycle, so if you're going to be doing that for a long, long time, I would recommend either jacking up that preload collar a little bit, checking that suspension travel, and just making sure that it's good, because sometimes it can really make the bike a little wonky. The second thing to think about is you have a ton more mass on your motorcycle, as mentioned previously, and so braking distances are going to change. You got to do everything further and slower when you're riding two up. You got to accelerate a little easier because you don't want to, yank the passenger off the back of you. You want to brake really early and smooth because I don't know if you guys have ever ridden two up. You get that helmet knockback effect. Oh my goodness, helmet knockback effect. There we go. On the back of the helmet, that's a little frustrating too. So yeah, personally for me, here to here, put it the way I like to think of it, two up is no fun. I really don't have that much fun riding two up. To me, it's just super stressful. I just feel like I'm like, it's one thing to ride and put my own life in danger, so to speak, but I really don't like having a passenger on the bike. I don't. IT Pirate says, make your partner learn to ride themselves. I kind of agree. I think that, having two bikes and two people riding together is a lot of fun. Both people on comms, everybody's managing their own situation. Yeah, I don't know. For me, two up is not so great. I've never really had too much fun with it. So, yeah, not too much insight from your sweet Papa Yam on that one. Okay, what's on gaming 8138 on YouTube asked me, what's the minimum power and top speed a motorcycle should have to be safe on the American highway system? Great question. This is one we get a lot because riders are going to be commuting on the highway. They want to make sure they can be safe. I honestly think if we're answering this from like a just purely functional, like practical level, I think like you're going to hate my answer, but like 18 horsepower and like 70 miles an hour, and you can be quote unquote safe on the American highway system. Now, that is, I believe, the absolute bare minimum, because that was your question, right? Functionally speaking, what is the minimum power that I feel comfortable with riding on an American highway system? I think 35 is fine. There's a couple things to think about here, though, right? Aerodynamics really come into play. If you're riding a dual sport motorcycle with 35 horsepower, let's say a DRZ 400 that has not had its airbox mod done, you are not going to have a good time on that motorcycle, even with 35 horsepower, because it's too big, it's too wide, it's not aerodynamic, and it tops out at like 78 miles an hour comfortably, right? The front wheel is really narrow. You're going to get wobbly. It's not fun, right? So I think your entry-level naked bikes in the 300cc category making 30-something horsepower, if you're able to do at least 10 miles an hour over the posted speed limit on a highway, you should be good. Solo MC Rider on chat here said Dallas, Texas is a minimum of 100 miles an hour. That is something I have noticed here. I just moved to the DFW area from Austin. People drive insane here. I don't understand how I'm doing like 95 miles an hour and people are still trying to pass me. I'm like, just slow the hell down. This is insane. So it's like Mad Max, depending on where you live. I've heard Houston is even worse. As a new Dallasite, I have to talk mad crap about Houston. Just mad shit about Houston. Okay, that would be my answer for this. Okay, Kiwi Commander on YouTube asked me, what is the best first Ducati/Italian bike? Great question. I've been riding a Z750 for over a year, and I'm getting the itch for something more interesting, not necessarily faster. I would actually really love to hear what people on chat think about this. What would be like the best first sort of Italian or Ducati-styled motorcycle, something a little more exotic here? Let's consider that maybe this person is wanting something sporty. We're looking at a Z750, right? I would say the best first kind of foray into Italian motorcycles would be a Ducati Monster. Couple reasons. It's classic. It's never going to look bad. They have aged beautifully. You can get them in a variety of different engine configurations. You can get them in a bunch of different sizes. They're always going to be V-twins, excuse me. You can get them in a bunch of different engine displacements, right? They made them from like sub 700 cc's to 1200 cc's. So I think that you could easily get a bunch of different kinds of monsters. And I really think it would give you a really interesting flavor over your Z750 if you want to stay in that naked category. Domingo here on chat said Ducati Scrambler. I agree with that too. I think the Scrambler, I mean, I've beaten mine like a rented mule and it just keeps churning. They are really bulletproof and they're relatively easy to live with. Desmo service every 7,500 miles kind of stinks, but you know, that's could be too. A couple people here saying 210 660. Those are great too. I think the 660 platform in a modern context is easily one of the best Italian motorcycles out there. But it has a little bit of panache and flavor, but I don't know how kind of like old you want to go in the catalog, and some of the things get a little cantankerous. If you really want to go full zoot, if you really want to go crazy with it, get an MV Agusta. Lots of character, lots of pizzazz, lots of interest, but you're going to pay. You're going to pay with your life and with your wallet. You certainly will. A question on chat here from Lou Cole with the $10 New Zealand. Thank you very much. Hey Yam, asked a question a few episodes ago about moving from a Duke 390 to a ZX6R. Well, I've bought another Duke 390 as a track bike. What's your opinion on small naked bikes on track? Well, that's a great choice, right? It's a known platform for you. You're going to keep the same thing. I would say that it's a motorcycle that can be used extremely well on track, up to a certain size. We have here in Texas, Circuit of the Americas. That's the biggest track I can think of. It has an enormous back straight, if you've seen it on MotoGP. Not very fun on a small naked bike. But the cool thing about your Duke 390 is that you could take it on a kart track, right? If you have a really small track, that motorcycle is a little bit big for that track, and so you're going to get, big bike feel out of it. You're going to get a little wobble, a little shake, and you can learn a lot at really tight carving corners on a kart track. You can also take it to a small to mid-sized track. So the Duke 390 would be really fun on tracks like that. So great answer there for you. Or great bike. Decent answer from Yam. Okay. Mr. JC89. That should be JM89 for Jorge Martin 89, who's going to take the championship this year in MotoGP. Anyways, why are there only 3 categories for motorcyclists? Street squids, hog riders, and everyone else. As motorcyclists, we know there's a lot more to it than that, but from an outside perspective, many non-riders only know of the 2 main groups and then just lump anything that doesn't fit into something else. I think that the reason this exists is because in popular culture in America specifically, you have Harleys that are very easily identifiable. You see the guy on the Harley, like he looks a certain way and the bike looks a certain way. And then a sport bike looks a certain way. It's got plastics. The guy looks full-faced helmet, all that sort of stuff, right? And then there's everything else. There's touring bikes and big gold wings and that sort of thing. People really have a very hard time, if you're not in the hobby, of knowing all the different makes and models and things like that. I'll give you a perfect example of something I'm not into, right? Firearms. Something I never got into. I couldn't tell you the difference between half of these firearms, right? I'm like, oh, it's a pistol or oh, it's a rifle. That's about as far as my identification process goes. Where someone's super into firearms, they might say, oh, that's this spec and that's model, but that's different because of this, and the reason they make that this because of this. And I find that motorcycling has a lot in common with that. And there are a lot of firearm enthusiasts on the Discord as well, because I feel like there's a lot of specs. There's a lot of tech. There's a lot of, delineation of what this bike does versus that bike versus this versus that. And for most people, they're not going to have the time or the bandwidth to figure that out. They're not going to care about that. Skid75 here said, don't forget hipsters, ADV dads. Like Yam. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm glad I've ascended to hipster and dad. I feel like that was my ultimate form. But yeah, like retro hipster guys, I think, are a subset of that too. But some people might see that as like hog or cruiser riders or whatever else to that. All that sort of thing. I'm an embarrassment to Texas. Hang on a second. I'm one of Texas's prized possessions over here, my friend. I'm a crown jewel of the state. Spurge Productions 128. Hey, maybe it's the guy from Revzilla. Reasons as to why someone shouldn't get their license. Be interested to hear your perspective. I'm not sure there is a reason that someone shouldn't get their motorcycle license. I'm not sure that I have a reason that someone shouldn't get a license. I don't think that there's any defensible position that you say, no, don't get a motorcycle license. It's pretty easy here in the States too. Perhaps this question is from international, where it's really hard to do the, like A2, A1 thing. But I think that you should just take the MSF course, get your M-Class license. That way, if you get pulled over, it's not an extra ticket for you. It's just a couple $100. Go do it on a weekend, get started, and then it's really not too hard either. So yeah, I would say just do that. So yeah, I don't think that there's any reason to not get a license. What a strange question. Okay, Hunt Rice Down, very aggressive username. Is 16 too young to start riding? It's legal here, but what do you think? Okay, this is a great question, and honestly, this one, let's put it to a poll, because I'm actually really interested. Okay. Ooh, it's on this keyboard. I always do that. Is 16 too early to start riding? We will do a yes, and we'll do a no. And I think for me, the answer to this question really depends on the kid, right? Some young people have their heads screwed on straight. They are going to ride very effectively. They're going to take criticism and knowledge and teaching really, really well. And some kids just aren't going to take to it well. I don't think 16 is too young to start riding, but I do think that it is way too young to get any sort of powerful motorcycle. I would say a lot of people on chat here saying that 16 is a great time for like dirt riding and that sort of thing. I would say that, an average 16-year-old, if they've been riding in the dirt, probably has decent motorcycle riding acumen. However, they might not have correct decision-making skills in traffic situations, where people get hurt, right? Think about a 16-year-old driving their brand new car in high school or whatever. Maybe not it's brand new, some like 10-year-old beat up Honda Civic. Let's be real. I think that young man or young woman would probably be at a more of a risk to get an offender bend or something like that. So for me personally, I would say maybe you can start riding too earlier than that even, but perhaps not on the road. I think you should practice on the road in a four-wheeled vehicle with a cage just while you figure out traffic. And then maybe after a year or two, you can ride a motorcycle on the road once you understand road traffic rules. I just think that would be a little bit safer. But yeah, I think that, you want to ride some dirt bikes, you want to ride in controlled conditions, 16 is fine. But I think with traffic and learning how to ride all at the same time might be a little too much overload. That's what I would say. Looks like chat says 80% no. Get them boys young and riding. Get them on there. J.O. on YouTube. Okay, we got some crazy questions here. Best value helmet of 2024. Best protection to dollar helmet of 2024. Best overall helmet of 2024, regardless of price. What do you think this is? You think I'm Repzilla? You think I'm just sitting here? I got a list of helmet manufacturers by dollar ratio in my brain. Holy crap! I'll give you just my thumb in the wind answers. Okay, listen. I don't even. This is a great question because I don't even buy helmets that often. I literally wait until the 5-year mark, then I just get the same one that I had. Okay, best value helmet. I think this one has to go to HJC. Honestly, HJC makes a good helmet, and I think that they're pretty value driven. Scorpion as well. I think both of those are really good. Okay, best protection to dollar helmet of 2024. I kind of reject this question because as long as it has an ECE sticker, it's just as safe as any other helmet that has an ECE sticker. You can maybe find something with a Snell if it makes you feel better, but that's going to be higher up in the price range. So honestly, best protection to dollar helmet of 2024. Bell makes good stuff. HJC makes good stuff. You just look for the sticker. Look for the ECE sticker. And then best overall helmet of 2024. Screw it. AGV Carbon Pista, the squid helmet of choice, regardless of price. Wow, 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 wowie zowie. Flex up on all your friends with your beautiful Carbon Pista AGV helmet. What a good use of money and time and energy. I'm sorry, this question is just silly. Okay, Cora U7E. Uh-oh, this might be sillier. Can you touch briefly on 750 to 800cc bikes? How do they compare relative to 600s and 1000s? If a rider is seeking more than a 600, is an 800 the right step? Oh boy. Chat, I think this fella's confused about something. Okay, I don't even know where to start with this one. Let's think about this. Um, the thing you're talking about is basically like you're existing in this world where there's 600s and there's thousands, and all 600s and thousands are the same, and that's simply not true. Uh, and displacement does not tell you the whole story about a motorcycle. The perfect example I can give to you is a Ninja 650 is slower than a ZX6 by a very big margin, despite having a bigger engine. How is that possible? It has a bigger end number. It has to be better, right? No. The bike is built to be a certain thing. A ZX6 is a purpose-built race bike that goes fast as stink because it's designed to rev super high. A 650 is a parallel twin. It's docile. It's comfortable to ride. It's designed as a commuter bike. It's really nice and easy, and even a beginner rider could ride it, right? Okay, so a 750 or 800cc bike in today's world is something like a GSX 8R, a Honda Hornet 750, an MT-07, that sort of thing. And those bikes are nothing like a 600 and nothing like a 1000. Basically, think of it this way. A 1000 is a hypercar. It's a missile. It's the fastest thing you've ever conceived of in your life. A 1000cc motorcycle, a proper super bike, is just idiotically fast, right? A 750 or 800cc bike, even with the 4-cylinder, because depending on the type of bike that it is, might not even be that much faster than a 600. So I'd say before you think about this question, really think about, the type of bike that it is and the type of power that it makes and where it makes its power, and that's going to help you understand it a little bit better. In the classic pantheon of the question you're asking, for example, like an MV Agusta F3 800 makes about 150 horsepower. It sits right between a 600 and a 1000. But still, 1000s are nuclear levels fast. I would just really like to reiterate that. So there's a long answer to a question. There's a whole lot to talk about there. And I think we've made a video about this before. But if it's unclear, I'm going to make it again. And the comment section going to be like, you already made this one. I'm like, well, that guy didn't bother to use a search bar, so now he's going to learn today. Isn't that nice? Okay. Cody H, 1991. As an older guy, 35-ish. Whoa, hey. This is probably how old-timers feel whenever I say, like, oh, he's in his 40s, he's older. Look, I'm 32. Don't call me older. Don't lump me in with you. Okay? You're older, not me. You're on your wrong side of your 30s. I'm early 30s. I'm young. You're old. I've actually, as a side note, it's been this weird thing where I'm realizing that I'm now a very young old guy, and I'm no longer an old young guy, if that makes sense. Okay. He says he's been looking to get his first bike. I've been consuming a lot of your content in the last year. I know you hate the Ninja 650, but for the cost, sub 4K in a lot of cases, it seems like a decent choice for someone who would like to start on a little bit bigger bike. I know it's not super exciting, but am I crazy for these thoughts? George H over here on chat with the classic meme, I'm 40, I'm a man. That was the OSU guy, right? That's that really old video. Oh man, that's a good one. Okay. I don't think the Ninja 650 is a terrible buy. One of the guys that I knew when I started riding started a Ninja 650, and he had a plenty fun time with it. It was totally fine. But yeah, Skids here says a pretty good point where it's like the reason it's 4K is because the demand is basically non-existent for that motorcycle. There are much more interesting motorcycles to get, and if you're gonna go for a 650, you might as well go for an SV650. It's got way more charm, way more character. It's way more fun to ride. And if you're committing to a 650, you can find an SV650 for $4,000 to $5,000. You can really find one for that kind of money all day long. It's not going to be that bad. And it's a really good bike too. So I would say, I don't think you're crazy for those thoughts, but I do think that if you're maximizing for the dollar portion of it, an SV650 is in your future there, I would say. I did see someone dropped me a question here. El Perron, thank you for the $9.99. Evening AM, love the show. Thoughts on the ZX12Rs? I have an 05 ZX12Rs. Many riders never seen one around here and joke about it being a 20-year-old bike until I gap them. Will they come back? Will open class big bore bikes like that come back? Honestly, I kind of hope so. The ZX12 is a strange bird because that was, I think, right before they went ZX14, right? And then it's just like that big ass open class bike. Look, if the Busa still has a market, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some open class stuff, something a little bit funky, a little bit bigger, right? Especially because, to meet emissions, bigger engines have to kind of happen, and maybe we get plus sized inline fours. I don't know. I wouldn't kind of poo-poo the idea. I wouldn't throw it out the window, but I also wouldn't be bullish on open class superbikes coming back because it definitely feels like a product of their time. All right. Next question here. Caleb Sutherland, 8878. Do you have suggestions for comfortable riding jeans? I find regular jeans uncomfortable, and I have bought a few pairs of riding jeans in several different sizes, and I can't seem to find one that actually fits me comfortably. Okay, I could talk about jean fitment and jean comfort levels for days, and it's not the reasons you think. Now, I know I said I didn't want to talk about gear, I don't know anything about helmets or whatever I said, but jeans I actually think about a lot. So when I was a kid, I skateboarded a lot, okay? And when you skateboarded in the mid-2000s as I did, you needed a skinny jeans. That was just what everyone wore. That's what everyone did, so I wore them. Now, the trick to wearing skinny jeans was finding elasticity in them, right? So there was just like one or two pairs of jeans back in the day that actually had elasticity and were comfortable to wear for long periods of time like that. Jean makers kind of understood this over the next decade or so, and then pretty much every pair of pants now has some level of elasticity, right? I think that for you to find a pair of riding jeans that are comfortable, you need to either compromise on the slide resistance of that pair of jeans, because the more slide resistant it is, the kind of less elastic it's going to be. But there are also pairs of jeans that have kind of an accordion flex in them that allows for even more elastication, I believe is the word, and allows you to be a little more comfortable in them. There's plenty of pants that you can wear that have armor, that have slide resistant capabilities, CE rating, but have that stretch. And you can also find them in different fitments, right? I think that there's lots of jeans that if you just maybe size up a little bit, maybe get one that's a little bit wider, it's going to accommodate for your gear, for your boot, give you a little bit more breathing room, and then it's just going to be a little bit more comfortable too. If you don't like that, you can always just go like full ADV touring dad pants, and those are really comfortable, and you can just ride them all day long. So, yeah, I think that that there's lots of options out there. I love Revit stuff. I wear it all the time. Pando Moto makes great stuff too. Saint jeans. I've been wearing a couple of those for a minute. We have on the chat here, Scorpion jeans also do well too. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. Find something that stretches. The more stretch, the better. The higher level of stretch percentage it has, the better. Don't wear leggings, obviously. Nobody needs to see that. Nobody wants to see that. All right, boys. Thank you so much for joining for the questions here. If you want, join our community on yammie-noob.co. If I got you here, if you like what's going on, join. Become a member. It's a ton of fun. We really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to give away bikes and hang out with people on the server. And we're always giving away cool bikes. We're about to give away a street triple here pretty soon. The Ninja 500 is wrapping up. Rack up your points. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Now it's time for everybody's favorite. Excuse the prolific water drinking. It's the bike roast or boast. Now, I saw in the chat earlier that you guys wanted me to just roast today. I'm going to do my best. Do my best to come up with some bits, come up with some jokes, have some fun here, and just nuke these people from outer space for their motorcycle choices. Let's get started. All right. Isle of Adrian on Discord. This is my 2002 Monster S4 that I traded for in August. You think you're a special snowflake, do you? I've spent almost as much time fixing it as I have spent riding it, but it's so much fun, and I regret nothing. Oh, an early 2000s Ducati that spends more time in the garage. Color me surprised. My goal is to restore it to as close to stock as possible. Love that. Can't make fun of that. That's just great. I've always wanted a Ducati, and now I have one. I rule. What a great frame of mind where you're just like, I wanted a Ducati. I have one. This is great. I love it. This is awesome. Great looking motorcycle. Okay, so I talk about this sometimes where I feel like Ducatis that have the trellis frame are real Ducatis. Clear clutch cover, little windshield right here. The mirrors, Love the old school Ducati logo, the twin analog clocks. It's kind of hard to roast, kind of unroastable, right? Just a really cool bike. I mean, if you squint, you're kind of like SV650, but that's because the SV650 is trying to be a monster. You know, the more I look at a monster from this era, the more I'm like, man, the SV was just a ridiculously blatant copy. Ducati must have been really pissed off when the SV650 came out because they're like, this is ridiculous. Why did they do this? It's aged really well. It just looks damn good. This is ridiculous. I just, you know, it's hard to, I don't know. I really want to roast this guy, but I'm like, I mean, he loves the Ducati. He got the Ducati. He's fixing it up, and he rides it, and it looks great, and it's clean. Can't find anything wrong with it. Termignoni exhaust, period correct, it seems. I mean, damn. We can't roast it. Okay. Well, we're going to rate it an 8 out of 10. We like to see it. This is a good one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, Be Good's 8. 2006 CBR 1000 RR. 2 sets of fairings, white and red on right now. Love my life, total squid, but I'm probably going to have to sell. Okay, so let's check out the bike. I love this quality of photo here. I can really feel the old school energy here. Okay, I love also the Dutch angle and all that stuff. Why is it that guys who buy mid-2000s leader bikes, they love it, they're all about it, they go roll racing, and then they post it on Craigslist and say, hey, I gotta sell it. My loss is your gain. It's like, what kind of alimony do you owe? What kind of criminal charges are you trying to front? What kind of lawyer fees do you need to pay for? It's always something like that, you know? It's kind of silly with these guys. And then the title's always lost, and then all that stuff and all that. I swear, these guys that buy these old leader bikes, you just never know. This photo quality. Now, I will say, producer Logan and I talked about this, and it was not his fault. This photo was given to him in this quality, and this guy is a total squid. I can feel it. I can feel the squid energy in here. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a pro tip here. Ready? Soapy car wash like this, you are going to nuke your motorcycle. You're going to drop it so fast. It's so slippery in these areas, especially if you have the slick concrete. It is so slippery, and it's really no fun. You're going to drop that bike so fast. You already, look at that. You already found your little yellow Gixxer friend. You're already going out and committing felonies and doing drugs, all that stuff. Oh, we got a hand tattoo? Yeah, I figured. Yeah. You're going to have to sell it because you got to afford more tattoos. This is probably the helmet you had when you first bought it. But, you know, you're a rebel without a cause. I like it, you know, kind of old school with it. I appreciate it. You were born in the wrong timeline. I can tell you're a young guy, and you weren't around for the mid-2000s superbike craze. You're like, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. But I'm probably going to have to sell. Yeah, that's what he said. Why are you going to have to sell? Follow up with us if you're in the chat. Why do you have to sell it? I need to know. I really need to know. Yeah. This angry little sad shot here of you on the bike. Where's your yellow Gixxer friend? Gone. We don't know. All right, moving on. Impatient on 3. 2015 Honda Valkyrie. It's my first bike. Wow. Go big or go home. Even with the big-ass motor, I'm pretty responsible with the throttle. Don't worry, but it's not going anywhere. Don't worry. Bought it with the Corbin dual touring seat and the Fleetliner saddlebags already installed. Added the DRLs and driving lights last week. We'll be adding a much brighter brake light soon to get a car driver's attention. Yes, it's a big bike, and I'm a big dude, but not into cup holders. Thanks. I like the way that's written like a Craigslist sex ad at the end. It's like, I'm a big dude, but I'm not into cup holders. Thanks. Reply with if interested. Honda Valkyrie, man. What a weird bird. This is the naked Goldwing, isn't it? This is like the Goldwing that turned into something else, right? This is the Goldwing that had a weird love affair with the Ducati Diavol or something. These bikes are so strange. Big flat six, big everything, just burly as hell. Boy's got the smoker in the back. I already know you like barbecue. You said you're a big boy. You actually drive your truck sitting here, not here. You got to sit in the back You can't fit in the cab. You got that tiny cab for a big man. It's not going to work. You ain't going to fit in there. The smoker's on point, though. Yeah, that makes sense. Look at this slab of a bike, dude. Good Lord. I really hope you're just crushing transcontinental miles with this thing, because otherwise, what is the point? I do love the commitment to first bike on this. Also, I gotta say, the lights down here give it like a lower kind of like Sloth from the Goonies kind of vibe. It's like it's looking at me like, oh, Honda Valkyrie, you know, like, oh, wow, like, you're so special. Thank you so much, Honda Valkyrie. We love that you're here. Thank you. Yeah, really nice. Yeah. You know, the paint looks nice on it. This is a 2015. Yeah, it looks pretty good for a 9-year-old bike. I don't know how much mileage is on this thing. I don't think it was mentioned, but it looks pretty good. Boy, the rear's funky, huh? Some of the design choices that Honda made at this time was very bizarre. Okay, Mala on Discord. The first bike is MV Agusta Dragster 800RR. Now, I confirmed with producer Logan that this was not his first motorcycle. He just showed us 2 motorcycles, so this is just the first bike on the list. Recently picked up this bike to replace my stolen BMW M1000R. Big fan of the Recluse clutch for riding around town. Replaced the wheels for the one Super Veloce Serie Oro. SE Project, carbon, belly pan ignition, front fender, and rear hugger. Coming is the clear clutch, headers in tune, and some matching paint to the belly pan. All right, it do be looking good, though. It do be looking good. MV Agusta people, they just feel like they're so special, don't they? They just feel like they're like, wow, I got an MV Agusta. I'm freaking styling on all y'all, all this stuff. And truthfully, I feel like only if you are an Italian simp motorcycle rider do you even care about what this thing is. I think that the design language maybe would speak to normies, you know? It's a really cool looking motorcycle, but I will say normies hate naked bikes. So if you're getting a naked bike to flex on people, you've done the wrong thing. The Serie Oro wheels are very interesting. MV Agusta is always doing wild stuff with their wheels. They're like, oh, we can't win world championships with Giacomo Agostini anymore. It's not the 70s. But, you know, we'll do some crazy, weird, you know, marketing campaign on Instagram with some fashion designer, and we'll put some weird wheels on the bike. That's just as good, right? And we'll charge you $38,000 for the machine because, yeah, it's just, it is what it is. Skidster says, your producer didn't deliver any good roast bikes. It just looks good. Yeah, like, I'm trying my best to find things to poke fun at it, but it's just a clean, amazing motorcycle. So it's like, well, it's a bit hard. I have to make fun of the owner for their bad choices here in life. But, you know, the see-through on the seat here, the fold-out. I mean, we had one of these for a while in 2021, and they're just sick bikes. So, yeah. Yeah, they're nice. And then he did have the M1000R competition that he had replaced. Full Akrapovich, dyno tune, 215 horsepower, carbon wheels, carbon fuel tank, DB clear clutch, and accessories, RIP. Wow, that's a flashy looking motorcycle, right? Yeah, all flash. I can see why it was stolen. I get it. Why do we have so many cool bikes on the list today? God damn. Making my job harder. Yeah, we have a tier 5 flex offender over here with the M1000R. 215 horsepower, all the clear clutch and the full exhaust and the paint scheme and all that. It's just sweet. It just looks good. I mean, look at that. I'd be happy to walk up to the garage and see that every day. Be like, dang, all right, it's pretty good. Not too bad. I hope that the person that stole it from you is enjoying it. All right. Almizi on Discord has the 1995 Honda Magna. She's a bit dirty all the time. Lovely thing. Sounds really aggressive, and I know the locals hate me, so that's all that I care about. Done some wild stuff to get her fixed when she needs it, using a forklift to clean the chain while at work. Going to get my tools while riding a loose chain, and then the chain falls off and destroys the swing arm and sprocket. Front tire going so bald that it almost blew out. One of the forks has leaked nonstop even after replacing the seals and everything. She's great. My brother in Christ, this motorcycle's trying to tell you something. It wants you dead. Either that or you want yourself dead. These are not normal things to happen. Using a forklift to clean the chain while at work. First of all, OSHA wants to have a word with you. Why are we using the forklift to clean the chain? You just need a rear stand. You don't have to use a forklift to clean the chain. Going to get my tools while riding with a loose chain, and then the chain falls off and destroys the swing arm and sprocket. I don't understand half of what I'm reading here about the chain falling off and the swing arm getting destroyed. This is all a bit crazy. One of the forks is leaked nonstop. Starts up every time, except when I cook the battery with bad voltage regulator. Almost 40K on her. Many more miles to come, I hope. This Magna wants you dead. This Magna is going to kill you. I'm not really sure why you're tempting fate with this thing. Loading it up with your entire belongings because you ride a Honda Magna. I know that you are living out there hard on the road. Military surplus side boxes here. Love it. Love that. The yellow looks good. I gotta say, the yellow's pretty sick. The yellow and the little like military box on the side of it. You know what? I'm vibing with it. I feel good about it. You got the cruiser highway pegs over here. But knowing what I know about that motorcycle, something's gone wrong here. Again, nobody's gonna sign off on this. A forklift to clean the chain? Memento FX here doesn't want to do any more miles. Yeah, I don't think it wants to keep living. I think it's done. It's like, buddy, I'm from 1995. I'm coming up on my retirement. 30 years in the game. Let me be. I'm done. Look at this. Look at the bags that this man has strapped onto this. And he's taking a photo. He's proud of it. He's like, hell yeah. I successfully put none of what I own in these tiny little boxes on the side of the bike. It's pretty sick that you got the side boxes, and then you're like, nah, I'm not putting anything in there. Or maybe they're already full, and you're like, I still have so much more garbage I need to take with me. That's pretty great. Okay, OG Zimk. Howdy again, Mr. Noob. This is my 2002 Yamaha Zuma, baby. A little out of the norm for the server, but I figured I'd give it a show since it's two wheels and it's a Yamaha. I got this bike bone stock for about $1,000 and since put about $2,500 more into it. Oh, geez, that's the worst trade deal of all time. There's not a part in or on the motor that's still stock. It has a 70cc big bore exhaust intake and a big carbonated fuel. These are sick because they're two strokes. Fully built CVT and a ton more. Sounds like something an Altima driver would say. Nissan Altima guy would say, I got a fully built CVT, bro. I will run you any day of the week. I will any light you want. I will end you. I will destroy you. It hits about 55 miles per hour, and it's jumped from its stock 1.9 horsepower to 12 horsepower. Boys, that is a 600% increase, if my math is right. We've gone from about 2 horsepower to 12. We 6x'd the power, 600% increase there. I think if my math's correct, 6 times the power. Let's just put it that way. Interested to see what you think. Also, buy a scooter. You won't regret it. You don't have to tell me twice, my friend. Look at this little beast. Look at this little beast, dude. Hell yeah. The Zuma rips. 2-stroke, 12 horsepower, you maniac, out of a 70cc. Just badass. Just badass. This is just giving me the energy that my buddy Brandon's Honda Helix had. Is this a throttle lock? If so, hell yes, my friend. Hell yes, my brother in Christ, with the throttle lock on the Zuma. You're probably going to need it because you're really going to, be just like, Okay, that's how I know I like you. The Zuma with the dirt helmet and goggles. Yeah. True enthusiast right here, folks. You see a man riding a Zuma scooter with 12 horsepower and a dirt helmet with goggles, nothing but trouble, baby. Nothing but trouble. Look at that. To the guy who used a forklift, look at what he could accomplish with just one piece of steel underneath that bike. Center stand, it's up on the bike. You don't need to do this. You don't need a forklift. Malamoto said, where's the roast energy from last week? I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. But these bikes are all good. I can't roast them if I like them. And people just give me good stuff about them. Sheesh. All right. EBR fanboy. Somebody's got to be a fan of EBR. This is my girl's first bike as she learns to ride. 97 Suzuki Marauder $200. Picked it up for $200. Okay. The Marauder at this point, that name is no longer a suggestion of the motorcycle. It is coming for you. Marauders are wretched, horrible little bikes, and that's why they go for $200. But I feel like there is no Marauder that someone has picked up and really loved. It's always like in pieces and just like, I just got to learn on this thing. Like, come on, let's get this bike. All right, it was in pieces, like I said, but the whole bike was there. With just a few hours cleaning carbs and new fuel pump, she runs great. I bet. It's a Suzuki. Look how great that looks. Is that a bicycle pump right here? You fill up the tires with a bicycle pump? That probably took you quite some time, if that's so. Probably quite some time. Look at her working on it, learning on it. That's great. That's nice. It's really good you got your girl to learn on the bike. And fixed it up. $200, brought it back to life. You put leather bags on it. It's ready to go. For some reason, it's in the snow now, and then it's going to end up in pieces again when she inevitably rides it on the snow and just just wipes out. Oh, jeez. All right, Fat Daddy on Discord. I used my high school graduation money to buy a brand new 2005 Ninja 250R against my parents' wishes while they were on vacation. Okay. Awesome. Cut to the present 17 years later, where I've just jumped back on two wheels via 2020 Moto Guzzi V7 3 Stone S. She sounds amazing and has such great character. These are the things that Moto Guzzi people tell themselves to sleep better at night. Because I'm just going to be totally real with you. I'm not that big of a fan of Moto Guzzis. I don't think they're that great. To make it even sweeter, the day I picked it up from the dealer, I was also given the original exhaust, springs, suspension, valve covers, handlebar, and mirrors the previous owner had included when they traded it in. I couldn't be happier to back on two wheels. So this is a classic tactic for the folks at home. You buy a bike, and then you do a bunch of crap to it. You have this big box of parts. When you go to sell it, because you don't want to throw it away, you say, oh, dude, I got all these spare parts, bro. And you just hand them that box. They're not going to say no. You just pop the box right in their face. Oh, I got all these spare parts. Like, oh, thank you. You don't have to deal with any of that crap. You don't have to throw it away. None of that. Just you take it. You take the valve covers and the exhaust and the springs and suspension. I don't give a crap. All right, let's take a look. Ooh, red valve cover. Very nice. Very Honda. Very unique there. Very, very characterful, one might even say. Quilted seat so that you can have Charmin on the toilet and Charmin on the Moto Guzzi here. That's very nice. Tank grips that are going to do jack shit on the motorcycle. A red emblem to match the red valve cover over here. Very, very nice. Red matching on the V7 3 Stone. It's the Bonneville from another dimension. That's how I view the V7 Stone. Yeah, it's just, I feel like, you either love Guzzis and you get them or you don't, and I'm in the latter camp where I just don't really get them that much, and it's just not really my bag, but it looks pretty good, looks like a nice little machine, looks like you're having some fun with it. It's okay. We got too many nice bikes today, boys. Look at this gas cap. Why is it so aggressive? Why is it telling me that it needs to be ripped off right now? It is not stealth. It's an aggressive-ass gas cap. That's insane. Okay. Hey, Danish on Discord. Hey, Yam, this is my 2002 Ducati 996. Oh, I saw this one on Discord, and I'm not going to be able to roast this one either because it's just too good. I found the bike in a friend's barn where it had almost sitting for almost 10 years, and as a result, I was able to get it for $2,000. I did all the work myself, and I got it running beautifully. I wanted to get into track riding when this bike fell into my lap, so I started my track riding journey on a 1000cc V-twin with 0 rider aids and a cable throttle. Surprisingly, I've made it through 3 track days now unscathed, and the bike is still running great. Just a note on this one, it is a 748S chassis, but it's had the full 996 drivetrain swap, so hopefully no one freaks out and calls me a liar because I still have the old plastic. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, come on. Why was this like roasting on hard mode? What am I supposed to say about this? You guys asked for it. I'm trying to do the roast the best I can. But a British Racing Green Ducati 996. These are the original 748 plastics. Ooh, my boy on track having some fun. Look at that. Very nice. Oh, come on, look at it. It looks so good. Oh, guys, this is really making my life hard. Single-sided swing arm. You know I love these bikes. They look amazing. And this guy did all the work himself. He lovingly owned it and maintained it and restored it. It's got a brushed aluminum tank on it. It's got this beautiful studio lighting. Yes, Skid says this is a boast. And I agree. This is a pure boast motorcycle. Just really, really, really nice little thing. Classic Ducati. Looks so good on the pit stand. Man, trying to find something to roast on. I know this photo is kind of a potato quality, not doing the bike any justice, but Lord have mercy, that's a good-looking motorcycle. Sheesh. Just a gorgeous thing, huh? Man. Boy's looking pretty good on track, too. Having some fun, dragging that knee, learn how to track ride on a 1000 with no TC. Just a Chad. Just a Chad. You guys need to amp up your game and, yeah, be like this guy over here. Well, boys, that was the bike roast or boast. Honestly, the bikes were too damn good this week. Not enough for me to roast and not enough for me to get crazy on. I couldn't talk about, the insanity I did last week. I perhaps can summon that energy for last time. But now, we have the motorcycle trivia. Now, we'll see what insanity producer Logan has put together for me this week. Let's get started. The question today, one of them, is in what displacement was the Shadow not sold? 125, 500, 800, or 900? He's given me multiple choice here, and I really do appreciate that. Now, I'm almost positive that the Shadow was not sold in a 125. I think that's going to be my answer because I think they had the Rebel 125. It wasn't called a Shadow. What the heck? There we go. It wasn't called the Shadow. So I think I'm going to say 125. That's going to be my answer. 900. God damn. Off to a great start. It's been sold in 125, 400, 600, 750, 800, and 1100 cc variations. The Shadow, one of nature's most forgettable motorcycles. And this one, hardcore. Wow, very hardcore. Okay, next question. In what year did MV Agusta begin building motorcycles? And bonus question, why did they have to stop producing the aircraft that they built previously? Now, I'm going to guess that MV Agusta began building motorcycles in the 1920s. I'm going to say 1924. I don't know why that feels correct to me. It feels like it's like the lineage. I think that they got started after World War I, and then they stopped in World War II, and they came back for the 70s for the racing stuff. And I'm going to say they had to stop building aircraft because maybe Italy wasn't allowed to after World War II. Let's see. Oh-ho! I was right on the bonus question. MV began building their first prototype motorcycle in 1945. I was off on that one by about 20 years, so I did not get that correct. And then the bonus question I did, though. Post-World War II peace treaty. I said it. They couldn't do it. Couldn't build it. Get those crazy Italians not building, airplanes. Nobody wants an airplane with Ducati reliability. That's a good meme. What was the first motorcycle from Ducati to sell over 10,000 units in 1 year? Bonus question, in what year did Ducati sell the most motorcycles ever? Okay, let's think this one, boys. I'm going to say the first bike from Ducati to sell more than 10,000 units in 1 year was the Ducati Monster. I think that one is a shoo-in, right? Second question, in what year did Ducati sell the most motorcycles ever? It's either in the late 2000s or it was like last year. Yeah, I think it's, I think we're going to have to see. You know what? I'm going to say 2023 was the most year, and the Monster was the bike that sold the most. Let's see. Ooh, baby. Ooh, I was really close. In 2009, Ducati sold over 12,000 Monsters. The first time more than 10,000 units were sold in a single year. Got that right. Boom. And then bonus question, Ducati sold the most motorcycles in 2022, totaling 61,562. The most popular model was the Multistrada V4, nearly 11,000 units. That's a lot of Multistradas on the road. I was very close on the second question, and I got the first one right. Look at that. I might know a little something about these motorcycle things. Maybe. Okay. For just a few years in the early 2000s, Kawasaki sold a rebadged version of what long-running Suzuki model? Oh, wow. This is a very specific question. One that I don't really know the answer to. I kind of feel like it could be a cruiser of some sort that may be rebadged. Kawasaki sold a rebadged version of what long-running Suzuki? Was it maybe like the TU250X or something like that? The old Suzuki? Ooh, this one I'm kind of lost on, boys. I'm a little lost on this one. I'm going to guess that Kawasaki sold a rebadged version of the... What's their little cruiser? The Boulevard? I'm going to try the Boulevard. Kawasaki sold the KLX 400, which was mechanically identical to the DRZ 400 with green plastics and Kawasaki badging. Look at that. Look at that. It's some sort of fever dream Kawasaki DRZ. Look, the frame is the same. The engine's the same. That little, the exhaust is the same. What the heck? What a weird little bike. It's just a green DRZ. It's like Husqvarna and KTM doing their thing. It was like the same bike, but white. But this is identical. Oh my God, that's really weird. I would have never guessed that. All right. Engineers from what auto manufacturer aided in the development of the Revolution engine used in the Harley-Davidson V-Rod? Oh, boys, that's a layup. Come on, easy pickup on this one. It's Porsche, obviously. I know that answer super quick. On the dial, Porsche. Ooh, Christ, that's a that's a spicy meme. Since when is this more attractive than this and the impossible standards? Christ. Ooh, World War II Porsche memes. Yep, they can't escape it. They did build stuff for the Nazis. What bike has won every FIM World Sidecar competition since 2017? Oh my God, I don't know. It says Honda on it, but I assume that was a picture to get me off the trail here. What bike has won every FIM World Sidecar competition since 2017? Who the hell knows? It's some custom bike, isn't it? I'm going to say... Okay, there's something about it, actually, where I think for sidecars, they're not allowed to run thousands because it's too much power. No, that doesn't make sense. Or is it correct? I'm going to say CBR 600RR. The Yamaha YZF R6. It's under there. You'll just have to believe me. Well, I was close. It is a 600. I was just wrong with the type of 600. So, yeah. Now, boys, that's going to end the live stream because I unfortunately don't have the mystery box for today because I didn't get the delivery in time. So that's the end of the show. I appreciate you guys checking it out today. I tried my best to do the roast, but damn, those bikes were just too freaking good. Hope you had some fun. Hope you learned something. Hope you got the chance to hang out with some people on stream. Remember, if you like this sort of thing, become a member on YammieNoob.co. It's a lot of fun. You get the Discord, you get the giveaway bikes. It's the best part about what we do here on Yammie Noob. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. Bye.